Hey guys, Olga here. I promised to release this video after I did the best 10 work from home IT related jobs. Since there are those of you guys who are not up to entering stressful IT environment or do not have the required skill set to do so. So here's the good news. There are work from home jobs that you can start with no specific skills and you can start like today. And the only thing you need is being committed and hardworking and responsible for any job you're doing. So I did some research of mine, first of all, and here's what it says. According to flexjobs.com post from January 2019, the most popular remote jobs titles are as follows. You can see them below, like accountant, engineer, teacher, writer, consultant, program, project manager, recruiter, web developer, medical coder, UI/UX designer, and so on. You can see that some of those require specific skills. For example, you can't be an accountant unless you know the financial and legal issues that might arise in business inside out. Same relates to engineer, project manager, web developer, nurse, data analyst, and other positions. However, do not be discouraged, as I have found another research which says that 20 best work-from-home jobs are virtual assistant, medical transcriptionist, translator, entrepreneur, web developer, call center representative, and all of those are the positions. You can see them listed below. However, again, these are jobs that do require a specific set of skills or an offline commitment, like nurse position. It requires you to work out of your house, right? So I'd propose my own list of 8 best work-from-home professions that are highly popular in thematic groups for entrepreneurs, of which I'm a member, and in high demand as of 2019. First is a virtual assistant. Yes, in all thematic groups of which I'm a member, there are posts related to I'm looking for a virtual assistant, or posts like I'm looking for a virtual assistant position, and those people get replied to, like sometimes instantly, sometimes in the course of a few hours, since all of online entrepreneurs and business owners are looking for a virtual assistant of some sort to sort through their emails, their messages, to respond to automatic messages on their websites, to do the scheduling, and so on and so forth. And actually, this is the type of position that requires really no specific set of skills. You just have to be responsible, you have to be committed, and you have to be good with Googling. Second is teacher or tutor, of English mostly, but there are other subjects as well. And some websites that accept applications from those who would like to become online teachers require a degree from the applicants, but there are those websites that do not require a degree. For example, websites that teach English to kids, for example in China or other Asian countries. There are websites that do not require a degree from you, and you can start teaching if you are a native speaker and if you are good in teaching. And same relates to other subjects as well. You can find the websites that you can start teaching and tutoring students worldwide. Third is customer support operator or technical support operator. This is actually a type of position, of remote position, where you can look for a job in bigger companies and with a social package included. And this is actually the type of job I've been doing when I decided to go remote, and I've been enjoying it for some time, until I discovered that I missed that rat race of a salesperson that I've been into my entire life. But for those of you guys who are not as crazy, this type of job is perfect to start. And if you will be lucky to enter a good company that provides social package, you're good. Now the next is social media manager. I've already mentioned this position when I did my previous video on IT related work from home jobs. But here's a good thing. Working as a social media manager, you can manage several clients at the same time and get paid from several clients at the same time. This position, I would not say that it is highly paid, but as I've mentioned, you can take several clients simultaneously, and thus you will get a nice income. You will be responsible for social accounts of your client, and sometimes dealing with responses, it relates to your agreement with the client, and this is something that gets as popular as virtual assistant thing. Sometimes they combine two in one, so you might want to be good with social media if you are applying for a virtual assistant position, because this is something everybody looks for. Now the next is voice-over artist. Now I've been surprised, but out of mere curiosity I decided to try the job myself, just out of the interest, and I was surprised, but I got the job and I did several voiceovers and got paid for them. So if I, being a non-native speaker, could do this, you can do that for sure. And by the way, English speakers with different accents are getting popular as well. And you can try any of the resources that are scrolling down below, but you can also Google, and I totally recommend starting with this one. It's easy to start if you have some nice equipment like good microphone and noise isolated room to start with. You're good. I would not say that that's a highly paid position, but it won't require of you like a pile of effort. And I totally recommend starting with this one if you need additional income, and you can possibly turn it into a full-time income. Now the sixth is a video editor or a YouTube editor. Now I've been surprised, but many YouTubers, popular YouTubers too, use freelance video editors to edit their videos. Sometimes, or most of the times, YouTubers prefer to hire long-term lifetime video editor for their channels. So if you're good with video editing tools, you might like to check this out, because this gets pretty popular as well, and you may apply like at any YouTube channel that you're subscribed to, like, hey guys, don't you need help with your videos? Now seventh is one of my favorites. It's lead generator or sales manager assistant. And this is something I know more about since I've been in sales for several years, for all my life actually. And this is where you don't need any specific skills as well. You just need to be responsible, you just need to be committed, you just need to be detail-oriented, and that's all. Your job is not to sell, you don't have to close deals, you just have to be an assistant to a sales manager and do whatever he or she says. And this mainly relates to automatic messages, responses. You'll get all the scripts, so you don't really have to think something out or write something out or invent any sales pitches and sales texts. You just have to be an assistant to your manager. And this is something you can start with, and as with the customer support operator, you can enter some bigger companies with social packages as well here. So I would recommend starting with this one as well. Now eighth, a content writer. And this is something I love. I enjoy writing content, and if you're any good with writing, this is something you can start with and get high paid. And I would recommend focusing here on one industry and becoming an expert in that industry. For example, IT. I love this topic. For example, you would like to become an expert in IT industry, so focus on some topic that you can master, and thus you will be eligible for higher wages when you will apply to companies that are specialized on the technology stack that you are an expert on, or companies that cover the topics that you have mastered, like on an excellent level. Warning: do not fall into a scam. There are different types of scams, and some can be avoided, so please do not fall into either of these. First, asking you for money. Surprisingly, many people still do fall into this scam. Do not pay for a job. It's actually you who is going to get paid. It's actually you who is in need of money. So don't fall into this scam, and don't send anyone any money. No solid company requires of you to send them money to start working with you. It's nonsense. Second is asking for your personal details or your credit card details, the sensible data on the back of your card. So don't tell that. And also don't answer the questions like what is your grandmother's name or what is your pet's name, or all the questions that you might have indicated as your sensible data, as your secret question on your financial data. And third, and this is unfortunately the most popular, and unfortunately this is the one where you can barely evade the situation, is when a company hires you and then fails to pay you. This is unfortunately something that any can fall into, because you cannot predict in advance how this employer treats his employees, but you can do some research in advance, like check the social media, like if the company pages are more dead than alive, then possibly they are as negligible in other areas, for example in paying their employees. You can ask their employees directly how they find working for the company and if the payments arrive on time. So I would highly recommend doing this. So you do your research, they check your background and you check theirs. And last but not least, I will provide you with a link in the description that, according to Forbes, will provide you with top 100 companies that hire remote employees. Now, most of those companies hire employees from USA and Canada, such as Apple, for example. But there are also companies that hire employees worldwide, so you might like to check this out. And as always, thanks for watching. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I would love to learn what is your professional work, your goal is for this year or the following, and any challenges that you faced with while working from home. I would love to hear this. Thanks for watching and talk to you next week. Bye.